You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
It's Thursday, May 7th. I'd like to share some thoughts about Careers Edition. Imagine trying to build a commercially viable tech product from absolute scratch in, less time than it takes to binge a season of television.
Right, and doing all of that while you're still in high school.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we're doing a deep dive into South Korea's rapidly evolving STEM career landscape. If you're an international professional considering a move to Seoul, well, the ground rules are shifting, and it starts right at the foundation.
It really does. We can see that foundation shifting with that 22-hour hackathon you just mentioned.
Oh, the one at KSA?
Yeah, KSA, the Korea Science Academy of KAIST. And just for a little context, KAIST is essentially Korea's MIT, and KSA is its elite feeder boarding school. So 15 student teams there didn't just run, like, your standard lab experiments.
Right.
They actually had to identify a social problem, build an MVP, a minimum viable product, and then secure actual customer validation, all in under a day.
Wow. I mean, it feels like a really fundamental pivot. Trading lab coats for startup pitch decks. Traditionally, the East Asian STEM pipeline has been highly linear.
Oh, absolutely.
You get top grades, you enter a prestigious lab, publish papers. But forcing 16-year-olds to get market validation, that kind of suggests technical brilliance isn't the finish line anymore. It's just, the starting point for building a viable business.
Yeah, and that reflects a very deliberate national strategy. They're moving away from that traditional research track to more of a Stanford-style innovation founder model.
Okay, that makes sense.
The government basically realizes that to compete globally, technical ability has to be paired with market validation. You can't just fund pure research anymore.
But there is a weird paradox in our sources today. The government is pushing this whole new innovation economy, but at the same time, they're quietly gutting the traditional awards that recognize scientific achievement.
Yeah, the austerity there is pretty striking when you look at the numbers.
Right. The Ministry of Science cut its National Science Awards budget from 2.1 billion won, which is about 1.5 million US dollars back in 2019, down to 1.62 billion won, or roughly 1.16 million US dollars this year.
And the individual cuts are even more severe. I mean, the Outstanding Young Science Student Award now has a per-child budget of just 11,000 won.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that is $8 US for the gift, the medal, and the shipping combined.
$8, wow.
Medals are capped at 6,000 won, or $4 US. Even the judges just receive a flat 200,000 won, about 140 US, with absolutely zero travel pay.
I just have to question the logic here. We know Korea is facing a pretty severe brain drain, right? Top STEM students are fleeing to medical schools for higher pay and stability.
Right, the medical school rush.
Yeah, so defunding science prestige seems like pouring water on a drowning man. Like, how does taking away a $4 medal stop a top-tier student from becoming a dermatologist?
Well, it doesn't, and that's actually the underlying mechanism here. The strategy is shifting from symbolic prestige to pragmatic financial support.
Oh, I see.
Instead of spending heavily on fancy award ceremonies, they are bumping up the base monthly stipends for master's and doctoral students. They're trying to prevent brain drain by making sure researchers can actually pay their rent today rather than just handing them a plaque tomorrow.
Right. So if you're evaluating a research path in Korea, you really have to look at the total institutional package. The lab funding, the base stipends, and not just the headline awards.
Exactly. You have to look at where the actual money is going.
And speaking of where the money is going, with academic prestige tightening its belt, capital and momentum are just heavily concentrating in the private tech sector. I mean, the KOSPI index recently surged past 7,384.
The rally has been massive. Samsung joined the $1 trillion club, up over 14%, and SK Hynix jumped over 10%.
And the National Pension Service reached 1,700 trillion won, which is about 1.2 trillion US dollars in assets.
Yeah, the sheer volume of capital flooding into semiconductors and AI is just immense right now.
But, okay, let me play devil's advocate. If you are an international professional looking at Seoul, a skyrocketing stock index is great for investors, but does it actually open doors for you? It's kind of like seeing a restaurant with a line around the block. It means the food is good, but it doesn't automatically mean they're hiring more waiters.
That is a totally fair question, but yes, it does actually translate to jobs. Historically, when semiconductor stocks surge like this because of AI demand, we see a mechanical flow of that capital into talent acquisition within like 1 to 2 quarters.
Okay, so it is direct pipeline.
Exactly. They literally need more engineers to fulfill the massive orders that are driving the stock price up in the first place, especially for AI-adjacent roles.
Right.
But I should warn you, there is a risk. Hiring booms driven by immediate market demands are highly cyclical.
It sounds kind of similar to retail stores overhiring during a holiday rush, right? Like once the immediate surge of building out AI infrastructure cools off, those peripheral roles might be the first to get cut.
That is the reality of a market-driven landscape. Technical talent is no longer insulated in a nice little government-funded bubble. You are tethered to market cycles now.
Wow.
Which, brings us full circle to those high schoolers building MVPs.
Yeah, exactly. If market validation is the new gold standard for Korean tech talent, how can you start treating your own academic research or your career trajectory like a minimum viable product?
It's a great question to ask yourself.
That's today's AI Prism, Careers Edition. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a One Eye for A award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.